Destiny went full mask off at the end and basically admitted his views are inconsistent. He only says the stuff he does because it makes him sound smart to not be vegan. Oh, that sounds like an admittance of like...
Did he really say that? That's like kind of crazy.
Destiny admitted that he does not care if there are inconsistencies in his views on veganism, as long as his arguments work with normal people who aren't professionals. Yo, he just...
I want
Yeah,
to see him. I want to see him. Where does he say that? Like, is there a timestamp or something? Because I have it open right now, like the stream itself.
Yeah, if you could provide a timestamp, that'd be great, because like that's something that we could just defer to every time like he is being like very obtuse. You can just be like, look, we know that you have a motivation to just not be vegan, and that you admit that your view is inconsistent. So.
It's funny. I mean, I'm assuming this is all true, and he said this. It kind of fits a lot of people's suspicions about him with veganism too, which is funny.
Yeah, it definitely fits my suspicions for sure.
Okay, so if he's still alive and you just saw it, how long ago did he do it? Then I could just go to the live and just go back or something.
Journey.
Oh, we have a donation.
It's funny because I just can't hear it on my end.
I'm just hearing a bunch of journeys. I really like. We're not. Just to be clear, everyone. We're not. I don't think, at least, that we're planning on watching all of this. I just wanted to see where Destiny just admits that his positions are inconsistent. He doesn't care if they are, as long as they work with normal people, as this person said.
That abortion and veganism are the two topics that I just don't debate that much because they're so obnoxious to me. I wouldn't have gone if it was that. But then it ended up being that, and of course, obviously, other people want to debate, and it's like usually one debate like leads to other debates, and I'll do it. But it's not like, okay, I can't wait to make abortion and veganism like mainstays of like my debate platform for the next like, few months. It was just a thing
that's fair. That's fair enough. I mean, I will say that it has obviously sparked a lot of, I think, controversy in terms of people like the pro-lifers obviously getting mad. I think vegans, I think vegans are more confused at your position. I think, like, I will say, like, from my experience with the vegan community, it's more of the fact, like, in the vegan gains conversation in the first one, you'll say something like semantic and understanding, and by that you meant qualia.
Yeah,
and then
I understand. I understand. There's a whole bunch of like terminology and verbs that I could clarify. I don't care to. I don't care for the conversation. I don't care to. Some of my positions might even seem inconsistent or whatever, and they might be. If I were to take like some weeks to like measure out, like, and finitely detail, like, these are the exact blah, blah, then I could probably do that, have a more consistent or clear stance, but I just don't care. I have zero care whatsoever. There's probably people who hear me talk about computer science and get triggered when I say something's wrong. They're probably like, there's a ton of topics like that I don't know everything about. This is just a topic that I super do not give a fuck, like spending a whole bunch of time like investigating and reading out like all my thoughts.
Then for me, it's like, then shut your mouth, right? Like, don't talk about it. Like, if you literally admit that you don't care, that you like, you use like a lot of the terminology wrong, and that your position might be inconsistent, but you don't want to take the time to sort of like siphon through the position and then see if you can like remedy the inconsistencies. Like, if you don't care enough to, especially when it comes to like vegan and abortion debates, then don't have these discussions.
Interesting. Like, I wanted to make sure this wasn't a straw man. I mean, he said they might be inconsistent, which is like really weird. Like, I would never debate a topic as confidently as he does, and then be like, yeah, my views might be inconsistent, but like whatever. So yeah, it's not really that he's admitting they're inconsistent. It's more that he's actually open to the possibility that they are, and they might even be, and he doesn't care to course correct.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, it's like, like, because he could be like going into these debates with a position that's false, right? It's inconsistent, right? Mm-hmm. And then he doesn't care that it's false, but yet he's still in these debates. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
or are you? I don't get it.
It's kind of cringe.
It's pretty cringe. Yeah. And I think the reason why he has this I don't care attitude is because these are the two topics he gets systematically like bukkakied on like every fucking time. Vegans will wreck him like almost every time. And then when it comes to abortion, I think he gets wrecked here and there. The two topics where he's the weakest on are the ones he just so happens to not care about, which I think is very convenient.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know, like maybe just admit that you're wrong on this topic and your views actually lead you to veganism, maybe. Because when he says that they're inconsistent, it seems to be that his views actually lead to veganism, but he like pretends that they don't, or like this human standard is inconsistently applied. His standard says that certain humans shouldn't be taken into moral consideration, but then like he goes back on that because, and that's like inconsistency because previously his standards did say that they shouldn't be morally considered. That's what I'm gathering as what's inconsistent. I don't know if that's like leads to veganism on his view. I'm not really sure because it depends how much that human cognition that he previously said doesn't matter is the same as animals or like similar or whatnot. Someone said keep listening. Destiny seemingly takes sin out. Okay, well we'll listen.
Journey.
As long as we don't want to.
Journey.
Oh, there's a donation. 1 second.
Journey.
I just don't care that much.
Journey.
I'm sure there are a ton of vegans that feel a certain type of way about it, and that's totally fine, but I don't.
I mean, like, look, I get it. I will say this, right? I think that in some respects, it seemed like from my position of watching like the abortion debates, and sometimes when you're debating vegans, it seems like you care a lot. And then I think that there's other times when it's convenient not to care. And I think that those times
I care a lot. There, what do you?
Like
when
you're
do I
invested.
care a lot?
Like you're invested.
I mean,
in
I'm invested. If somebody gets on the server, like shouting at me or whatever, I'll care whatever. But I'm not like invested. Like, guys, we're gonna spend a lot of time like contemplating veganism and abortion. No.
No, but
I don't
mean,
think
like,
I've ever
it
done,
seems
like
like you
a full
care
research
about
stream on like abortion or veganism before. I don't think in my entire life.
It seems like you care about the consequences of people living their lives in relation to these two ethical dilemmas. Like if someone is if pro-life was to proliferate across the United States, it sounds like you would care about it, right?
Yeah, probably. But none of these conversations about people that are pro-life or pro-choice are getting to this level of depth ever for policy discussion.
It's more of the fact that you think that this could be resolved, like normally resolved at a more shallow level, and you can't be fucked to go deeper.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't see that as maybe as a little, like, it's just more of the fact that it's just like a total convenience thing. Like,
yeah, there's only so much time I have to do certain things, and this is just not how I want to spend my time doing.
That's bullshit. Because I think what it is like when he talks to people, right, about these topics, and when it gets down to the minutia, right, when it's no longer surface level, when it gets a little bit deeper, when you're talking about like the different branches of ethics or whatever, that's where he gets fucked. He gets completely annihilated. Right. And so he's like, yeah, that's why I like to keep it service level. And if it's anything beyond that, I don't really care. Like, that's fucking convenient. Yeah. Whenever it faces where you get absolutely intellectually cream pied, like, that's when you don't really care. Right. But when it's like the average Joe who doesn't know too much about this kind of stuff, you'll fucking dog on them like crazy. So I agree with perspective philosophy here. It's just pretty fucking convenient.
It seems like an ego-driven code for when you do and don't want to debate veganism. Like you'll take the surface level approach because it makes you still look good. But then once someone wants to go a little deeper and maybe find some deep inconsistencies in your view, you don't want to engage with that. And that's how I'm interpreting it, at least.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, there's some presuppositional apologetics that are like that too. Like they'll deliberately avoid debating certain people because they'll give them like a hard time. They like to go after like atheist white belts or something like that.
Right.
And I think a part of that is because of, it's like an ego, like they'll even say, hey, debate this dude. Like, why don't you debate him? It's a good ego boost. I'm like, why are you debating someone for an ego boost? Like, shouldn't like the norm be to like that which is conducive to like their truth? Don't you want to like figure out like what is true? Like, why are you just debating people just to feel better about yourself?
Yeah, it's a lot opposite to like the typical goal of debate, which is like truth seeking and whatnot.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, you know, I'm sure there's things that I could care more about. But I don't, you know, like I'm not really invested in needle spending or something, right? You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure it's important, you know, so I get that. Like, it just comes to the point of like, I'm not saying don't do the debates, but I'm saying if you're taking such a fervent stance against someone who, like, for example, you believe is knowledgeable, or like even against like vegan gains, where it's about something that you've even admitted to be super complex and intricate, why take such a hard stance? Like with me, you've went, I don't know, I don't give a fuck, when I've pushed you.
I'll present my opinion, and I present my opinion here, but like vegan gains, he jumps in here to shout at me about things. I'm not like DMing him like, hey, we should have a debate on this topic or whatever. He comes in here, he wants to shout me something like, okay, what do you want to talk about today or whatever? And then I'll give my spiel or whatever about it, and then sometimes it drags into a longer thing. But it's not like I'm seeking him out for these conversations. He just has permission to jump on my Discord, somebody jumps in and he shouts at me over things. Like, that's it.
But in the long run, like, is it just that like you sort of, you know, humor in them, or is it that like, because it I don't know, like I'm not like sort of like, it's sort of meta debate, right?
I mean, even if that's what's happening and like Richard's coming in and like kind of initiating the debate and then he's like, yeah, I'll humor him type of thing. At least, when someone does that to me about a topic that I'm not familiar with, I'll say like, listen, I don't feel equipped to have this conversation. Like I think there's a lot of things here I don't understand, and I'd rather not have it, at least now, like give me some time to like look into it and whatnot, as opposed to like being as confident as he comes across, He kind of backs the opposite of what I just described in terms of confidence and competence in the area and whatnot.
I think his attitude towards those given topics are going to be indexed to the debate level of his opponent. So, like, if he's debating someone that's, like, really good, or if the debate gets into a place where, like, it puts him in a position, then he adopts the I don't care sort of, like, mindset. But, like, if he's the one that's, like, beating the fuck, not, physically, but, like, intellectually beating the fuck out of somebody, right? Then he's got to, like, come off as, like, he cares a lot, right? Or cares to some degree. So I think it just depends on, like, what's happening in the debate and who he's debating against.
Yeah. Kind of weird. Like, it should be based on the subject itself, not like who you're debating.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like veganism is a topic, and then veganism with a particular interlocutor is a separate topic that he's either willing or unwilling to debate, depending on the debate competence level of the interlocutor that is debating veganism, which is like kind of weird. It's like
just a dishonest piece of shit.
Yeah,
that's my take on Destiny. Like, sorry, any Destiny fans there, but this dude's been dishonest for like a long fucking time. And he pretends to like understand like philosophy, right? And then here he just admits that like, I know I use it wrong, I just don't care. I'm like, you're a piece of shit, brothers. You have a huge audience. People are listening to you, right? They're taking your word as fucking law. You're going to be confusing the people, spreading misinformation, and you know it. What the fuck are you doing? Like, stop debating in these sort of spheres because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's so frustrating.
It seems that you give a fuck about the idea of you like harming children and or harm to children and harm to humans and shit like that. And right now you're caught between these two communities that both think you're being inconsistent, and you sort of, rather than resolving that inconsistency whilst engaging in debate, like so fervently taking like such a very specific fucking stance, by the way, where like it's not even just consciousness, it's a kind of consciousness. It's not that it's a human, right? It's not that it's an animal. It's this very specific phenomenal experience which may really, let's be honest, not even exist in infants, but you would still not be okay with it. So there's all of this, right? That is your baggage in this sort of scenario, right? And I get that's fine, right? Because these debates are complex as fuck. Researchers debate them for years. Like one of me mods came in and basically said, I don't think like Vegan Gains or Destiny could have this conversation. And I responded, I'm not sure who could have this conversation when we're talking about the philosophy of mind and neuroscience to the point in which brain is conscious and which isn't. Like, I don't know who the fuck go, oh yeah, actually that one, I can tell it from the photo. Like, so I get that this is complex as fuck, but then why not just go, actually, I don't know why I hold this position. I maybe need to introspect some more, maybe look into it.
Because I think that my position is good for 99% of conversations. But if somebody wants to argue like the hardcore intricacies of like veganism, probably not going to get there. But for
no, just because the sort of conversation or your view is good for most people, right? Doesn't mean that the position's fucking good, right? It could be like something that's understood by a lot of people. It could be something that like someone could hold and like respond to like any other layman person if they get into like, you know, normal interpersonal relationships, like when they're talking about these topics. Yeah. But like the reasoning behind these positions could be dog shit. It could be dog water. And if you know that, then you're doing an intellectual disservice to people, right? Who cares if it's good for the majority of people? Because what's good for the majority of people, or I shouldn't even say good, what's easy for a majority of the people or understandable for a majority of people doesn't mean that it's a good fucking position to have.
Yeah, I agree. It's weird that would be even used as a metric for like, oh, it's fine if I have the conversation in that way, because like most people get it, or they don't give me any pushback, but then like 1% will, like the vegans that will come and like dismantle or go deeper into what they're saying and establish some inconsistencies and whatnot and whatever.
Yeah,
it's almost like, I don't know, like malicious to have a conversation or justify it with that, with like not knowing that like maybe 99% of people that you have it with aren't equipped to detect the inconsistencies, but then when someone is equipped to detect those inconsistencies, like you just say something like, I don't care, or you avoid those conversations. And
because presumably you would want people who are like legislators or something. They would actually, you want them to get into the nitty gritty about these things and not have like a surface level knowledge on ethics, because the reasoning as to why they advocate for particular bills or types of legislation is going to be poor reasoning. You want them to be under the purview of good reasoning, right? So it does, like, who cares if a lot of people can understand this or use this? If they literally come into an ethics debate sphere, they will get completely intellectually manhandled, bro. And then by that reasoning, he should be adopting like our view or views similar to ours, because not only does it do well against most people, like he said, but it does most people and then some, because all of the people that he's able to convince of this view would be convinced, and also people in these different debate communities or these debate spheres are also convinced. So now there's even more.
Journey.
I'm following you there. Hold on, we have a bunch of journeys. What were you saying, Rexter, before we press play again?
No, you're good, man. No, I was just saying that, like, if he thinks his view is okay because of that reason, then he has more of a reason to adopt views like ours, because it's going to be good against most people, the layman people, and then some people like in the debate spheres as well.
And won't be inconsistent, which might be, which are his own words.
Yeah, we don't have to deal with the inconsistent element to it too. So
right,
yeah.
Which, presumably inconsistency is not good.
Because I think that my position is good for 99% of conversations. But if somebody wants to argue like the hardcore intricacies of like veganism, probably not going to get there. But for 99% of people I talk to, I think that my positions are perfectly coherent. I think they're perfectly consistent. I think they get it. The meat of like that particular conversation for abortion, like just fine. Like,
what did you mean? It's consistent for them, like in their view?
It's seemingly consistent, meaning based on what they see or based on what they're able to identify. There's no contradiction. Yeah, all it takes is for that person to maybe ask a couple of questions to have a little bit more points into the critical thinking category, and they're able to demonstrate the inconsistencies of the view.
Mm-hmm.
So he's essentially saying my view is good for fucking dumb people. That's useful. Yeah. Okay. That sounds so stupid. It's like, yeah, my view is good, for most people who don't understand like propositional logic or critical thinking or like ethics and things like that. Because like most people are into that. The thing, like, don't you care about like the opinions or the analyzation of people who are in those domains, because they're able to give you like more, like better like critiques, or they're better to analyze the view? Like, bro, come on, dude.
Yeah.
It's sorry, man.
No, don't apologize. This is all great. Yeah, it's also, it's just weird because when he says like it gets to the meat of like the topic and whatnot, it's kind of a weird thing to say, because it's like, what do you mean by that? Like, it gets to like the general thoughts people have about this topic, but not like the underlying truth of it, or like I'll say inconsistent understanding of it, because like there's a presumption that he may be inconsistent here, but 99% of people can't track that. Like, that's just a weird thing to say. It's like, wouldn't you want to rather get to a point where your view when expressed is consistent, it's properly like nuanced, it can face scrutiny from like people that have deep knowledge in this domain?
If we want to be a little pedantic here, he's saying this position or these arguments are good for 99% of the population. Now, my question is, when he says good, like to what aim? It's good with respect to what standard? Like, it's good with respect to being easily understood, comprehended, something like that. Like, if that's the case, then like, okay, sure, let's say that's true. Yeah, that's what you mean by good. It's conducive to those sort of aims, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it conducive to being true, right? Like, is it contradictory, right? Like all these these other sort of characteristics that seemingly mean more than like merely a lot of people just understanding it, or I won't even say understand it. And here's why: it's because to these people, if it's seemingly coherent or consistent with them, they don't truly understand the position. Because if they truly understand all the intricacies of the position, they would know that it's inconsistent. So I can't even say that.
Is it going to do good enough for like professional like vegan debates? Probably not. But 99% of humanity is not at that point, so I don't care about it.
But it's not even professional, because like it's like, and I know that Trent isn't like the average pro-lifer, but I mean, we're talking about like.
Sorry.
What?
You think 99% of people know all the intricacies of like socioeconomics? Come on, be fucking consistent, bro. Because by that metric, you should not be having all of these other kind of discussions that you have when it comes to minutia on different politics or social like economical discussions, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you think most people like kind of understand these intricacies, and like the most interactions or discussions people have get to that degree, get to that level, that depth? No. So why aren't you consistent? You should hold the same view on all these other things you like to fucking talk about.
Yeah, it seems he's inconsistent with respect to accepting potential inconsistency in his view based on the criteria that 99% of people don't understand it, because the other instances where he's probably less privy to allowing some sort of inconsistency to go through, for example, like socioeconomics and whatnot, he does have take issue with that. So that's interesting. Yeah.
So I'm just wondering why the fuck you'd go, oh, you know, this animal here, this dog, cat, dolphin, chimpanzee, these are very complex social animals engaged in highly communicative behavior, seem to respond to their environment that shows problem-solving skills, and neuroscientists all almost unanimously all say animals are conscious and having an experience, but then you'll go, not that experience, that's not the same kind, and you'll make this hard fucking distinction between them and us. And it just sounds like it's pseudo-religious. It's pseudo. Okay. It's like a human soul, right? Like honestly, like a Christian will do it. They'll go, oh, well, the lack of human soul, made in the image of God. Like that's like, do you know what I mean? That's how it seems to me.
Okay, maybe I'm making my way back to Catholicism then. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying you are. Like I'm just wondering, like, because that's how I'm approaching it. Because like it seems to me that normally, if I was to give an evolutionary case, like 9 times out of 10, a neuroscientist or an evolutionary psychologist, an evolutionary biologist, they think we're the same thing as animals to a higher degree. It's not that there is this massive categorical distinction. Yet you want to make out like, no, ethics starts here because there is massive categorical distinction. And I want to know why.
I don't know, man. It just seems like humans are a thing. Where else do we want to go with this?
No, I'm not gonna.
I don't know, man.
Just lazy on the topic.
God, you're just so pathetic, man. Oh my God. Just like, if that's how you're gonna respond, just stay out of these spheres, man. Just stay out.
I don't know. Humans are a thing.
Like, you can say that about literally anything.
Dude.
Fuck off, I don't want anything to do with you. Don't ever speak to me again. You're a fucking piece of shit.
Even vegans don't get your weird, stupid wannabe sense of irony here. Who is your audience? Nobody gets these dumb jokes. Dude,